Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. We about to break down Kevin Knox, ladies and gentlemen. And I know there's going to be a lot of steam in the chat for this one. I did do this the other day on Sportscaster, but I wanted to update it a little bit because I had some technical issues. All right? So, decided we're going to come back and do it again. Got my man Andy here. Andy, what's poppin' with you, man? How you feeling this Saturday?
Yo, what's up? What's up, Sam? Happy to be joining you back on the Coach's Corner.
Yeah, man. I know it's Saturday night over there for you, but, you know, for me, it's Saturday afternoon, I guess. 1:35. I just finished doing a training. I didn't get much sleep last night. So if you guys think what I'm saying is delusional, I'm not. I might not have got a lot of sleep, but I'm not delusional. What I'm saying to you is the truth. So deal with it. Let's talk about Kevin Knox, man. Listen, Kevin Knox has been an enigma. He's been an enigma since he's come into the league. He's been in the league for 2 years. And as it is right now, you know, you got some people that's like, yo, I'm one of those guys. Yo, we got to be patient. We got to let the kid grow. You know, he's got to mature a little bit. Kind of like Isaiah is 27 years old and his mother still got to tell him to take out the dog because he went home and fell asleep. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like that.
That's a perfect analogy you made on the episode of Chef Zay on the burgers, on the smash burgers. I just want to advertise that. Please go there. Watch at least the beginning. If you don't want to, go through the whole story, just go through the beginning at least.
Right. Yeah. But Kevin Knox needs some time to grow up, basically, man. That's the way I think about him. I believe the kid has a lot of talent. He's got a lot of shortcomings. No doubt about it. He's got some shortcomings early in his career, things he's got to work on. Things he's got to work on, and it's not, it takes work. It takes that off-season work. He's had a long off-season, as did all of the Knicks. So I'm really interested to see what it's going to look like when they finally come back into camp. Did he get a little bit stronger, get a little bit bigger? Has he worked on some skills?
True.
And I'm going to talk about some things today that I hope that he was worked on. All right, so let's start off. Let's start off with defense. All right, now we're talking about how Thibs can use Knox, but I want to get into his defensive development. All right, because obviously Knox is, at this point in his career, not a good defender. He's not a good defender at this point in his career. And I think there are 3 key issues to him not being a good defender. All right, the first one, then we're going to look at some videotape. The first one is body control. He's 19, he's 20 years old now. But I think he lacks control of all of his limbs. Mitchell Robinson is another guy that I think lacks control of all of his limbs. Like if you guys know what I'm talking about, if you see a little kid running on a playground and his arms are over here, his arms over there, one foot this way, like the limb, that's why kids are always falling on the ground and all this kind of stuff. I don't know if Knox is still growing, but when you're talking about younger kids, if they're still growing, like their feet may be 10 times bigger than their hands, and it's hard for them to control their head because their head is big, stuff like that. Right? I don't know if that's totally the case with Knox, but I think that Knox needs to work on his body control. Right? And I'm going to show you what I'm talking about, and then we'll come back and talk about it. Right? This is just a small clip right here. You're going to see right here, Kevin Knox. You see Bradley Beal goes to the basket. Right? And, Kevin Knox, he jumps. Some of this is court awareness. Like at that point, maybe, you're not going to be able to do anything, but his arms are flailing. His body bumps into him. A lot of that, to me, ladies and gentlemen, is body control. Right? Not being able to control your body. What do you think about that?
Yeah,
analysis,
he
Andy.
like you said, he lacks a little bit of like athletic coordination. We see sometimes that, like you said, he probably thinks faster than his body can react. And the other thing is he's just growing and gaining weight due to the NBA, training programs and stuff. So he will gain that weight, and he maybe not needs to work on the coordination from the beginning, but it needs to, go in pair with the body that he's going to grow into. And that's going to fix, the problems, like we said, during, a certain amount of time. Sim, sorry to tell you, Sim, but I think the chat is saying that we're muted.
Okay, so let me go back. Sorry about that, guys. All right, playing on the balls of his feet. I think this is an area for Kevin Knox that he's got to work on. I'm, watching some video clips, and he's standing flat-footed when he's in his defensive stance. All right, so when you're standing flat-footed in your defensive stance, there's going to be a problem to me every time. All right, because now you've got to take that split second to get up on the balls of your feet to move quickly. Right, you're not ready to pounce. If you're standing flat-footed, if you're standing on your heels instead of kind of on the balls of your feet, you're not ready to pounce. You're not ready to move. All right. And here is an issue, I think, for Kevin Knox. So I'm going to bring up a clip here. All right. And the clip that I'm going to bring up, we're going to look at this clip twice because he does play decent defense in this clip. But he also shows to me what I consider a fatal flaw when you're playing defense. So let me bring this clip over. All right. You're going to see he's guarding Austin Rivers. Okay. Austin Rivers goes to the basket. Kevin Knox maybe gets a partial block. But let's stop it right there. Take a look at Kevin Knox's feet. All right. You can see me bringing my little NBK cursor over. Look at his feet. He's standing flat-footed. Now, that's okay if you're this guy. Stand flat-footed, okay, because you're way back here. Maybe it's a little more comfortable for you than standing on the balls of your feet. Right? Look at Austin Rivers. He's on the ball of his feet. Maybe that foot's flat-footed, but this foot is the one that's going to be ready to action. This is his pivot foot. All right? This is one that's going to be in action. Kevin Knox, not really ready to move. And when I play this, you're going to see that he has to jump onto the balls of his feet before he's ready to go. And just that split second, someone who's a little bit faster than Austin Rivers, you're going to get blown by. All right, so I'll play it. Boom, boom. He had to get his feet ready. Now, he was able to get the little partial block, but still, I think it is crucial, ladies and gentlemen, that you're able to play on the balls of your feet. And I think it's something that Kevin Knox is going to have to work on. Well, the offseason is basically over. We already know, things are getting ready to go down in the NBA. And excuse me for bringing up the wrong screen. All right, things are getting ready to go down quick in the NBA. So that's one thing I think he needs to work on, the balls of his feet. Or standing on the balls of his feet, not the heels. What do you think?
Yeah, if I can add something, I'd add two things. First, piggybacking on the standing flat-footed. When you're standing flat-footed, your balance point is like towards your back, right? That's why when he saw Austin Rivers going to make a move, he had to do that little step back, which causes the split-second, reaction of his really going, like causing Austin Rivers to have an advantage. And in the NBA, you only need like a split second to get past the guy. The other thing is, if you notice, his feet were standing straight towards Austin Rivers.
Mm-hmm.
If he had his toes pointed a little bit, wider, he could, like maybe put Austin Rivers thinking that he's trying to put him in a certain direction, or it's going to be to the line, or it's going to be to the middle, right? Like put the direction, on the offensive player, so he doesn't have, the certain way that he wants to go. Just like you are the defender, you're just going to point the way for the guy that he's available, right, to run. So that's a really important thing. We don't know what was the defensive scheme. So we don't know if he wanted him to go to the middle or he wanted to go to the baseline.
Right,
so
because he was standing straight up. Right,
yeah,
and you always, just like if you're in a fighting position, and I'm going to bring this clip back real quick so that we can see it. Boom. Okay, he starts, with a little bit of a pump fake. You see him move his foot back, right? But right here, you see he's straight up.
Yeah.
This is a position. I don't know how many people have ever taken boxing or any kind of fighting, skill. But if you're in this position, you're off kilter. You're really not on balance. If you're standing in that position, I can push you in the chest and you start to fall straight back, or you might have to drop your foot back. But if I have my foot already dropped back, you can't push me back.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a good stance when you're practicing. You practice a defensive stance and this and that. But when you're actually on a person, you should have a foot dropped, right? Because it gets you in position to be able to move your feet already, right? You don't have to drop a foot to move it. You know what I'm saying? Right now, he's going to have to drop a foot, like you were saying. If he was pushing him a direction, right, maybe he would have his left foot dropped a little bit, so he's pushing him towards the middle of the floor.
Exactly.
Okay. At this point right now, he's standing straight up, and Austin Rivers can choose to go whichever way he feels fit. All right. And this, this means, the defense always reacts to the offense. It's how quick do you react? And in this right here, his reaction time is not going to be fast. It's going to be a slow reaction time.
Yeah, and him, finishing the defensive play with a block, we gotta be true to ourselves. He's way higher than Austin Rivers. Mm-hmm. That's probably only his athletic ability that got him, up to a higher point to get that block, right? So, that's not like a really good thing, a plus for him, but you gotta add that he's defensively his athleticism is there, and his he's capable of getting those blocks due to the range of his hands and stuff.
Right. So. Right. And he definitely is. Next is foot positioning, and we were just talking about it, right? How do you position your feet? Are you pushing? Depending on what your coach wants you to do, are you pushing the player towards the baseline? Are you pushing them towards the middle? Right. So we're going to look, and part of that has to do with court awareness, defensive basketball awareness. So let's take a look at this clip right here. All right. You're going to see he's playing defense on Spencer Dinwiddie. Right. And I'm going to stop it at a certain point. Let me get it back, and then I'll stop it. Bam. I'm going to stop it right here. All right, let me go just a little bit more so you can see clearly. All right, so right here, and you can see some of Kevin Knox here and what's going on. But what he does He positions his body so that Spencer Dinwiddie has the whole side of this floor. Right? This right here is bad foot positioning to me and bad court awareness. And you're going to hear that again. Over here, there's a clear floor over here. There's nobody there. Any person who has any bit of speed in the NBA, if you give them a clear floor, they're going to have a good chance of getting past you and getting to the basket. Because like I said, when you're playing defense, you're reacting to the offense. This is a game I play, Andy, with my basketball players. I take a quarter and I put it in the palm of their hand. I take my hand and I put it on top of the quarter. Now my palm is facing up. And then I turn my hand around and I snatch the quarter out of their hand. Right? And 100% of the time, I grab, let me say 90% of the time, I'm able to grab that quarter out of their hand. The other 10%, maybe it falls on the floor. The key to that little extravaganza or trick or whatever it is that he cannot react until I react, or she. That player cannot react until I react. And I use that to start teaching defensive principles, that you've got to be ready. You've got to be aware, right? Because when my hand is on top of that quarter, they don't know when I'm going to move. And then I turn around quick and snatch it. And it's like, let's try that again. Let me try it again. Let me try it again. And they still can't do it because they don't know when I'm going to move. When they start to feel me move, my hand's already turned around and then they're trying to close their hand, right? It's the same exact principle here. Defensive players have to understand that you got to use more than just your athletic ability. You got to use some smarts, some awareness, some thinking on the defensive side of the floor, right? So let's bring that back real quick. All right. And we'll get it. And what Kevin Knox should have been doing. Instead of, you see this foot, his right foot is dropped back just a little bit. Just enough for Spencer Dinwiddie to say, I got this lane. All of your help is here. That's where all your help is. You see 1, 2, 3 guys right here. He should have been sending Spencer Dinwiddie, forcing him to the middle of the floor. Right? Part of that is court awareness. Part of that, is bad foot positioning. Something he's going to have to work on and learn.
True.
Right.
And this is, these are things that are fixable, right?
Fixable.
Because, these are things that are fixable, maybe not in a couple of training sessions, but I believe they are fixable in a kind of, a season length or whatever. But,
exactly.
I think these are really things that are fixable with a good defensive coach. If they're going to change up the schemes, his mind is going to be more in the game because it's going to be, thinking all the time. I hope he picks it up really fast and we're going to see, more of good defense from Kevin Knox. Yeah. Defensive awareness. This is a big one, right? We've all seen times when he's late, trailing the guy who's running off the screen, right? He's a little bit late doing that because, his defensive awareness isn't there. I'm not going to bring up a million clips, but here's one, a good one to me. That just gives you an example of the lack of defensive awareness. Okay. As you can see, the Hawks are running a screen and roll, and I'm going to stop it right here. Okay. Now, from the beginning, he's in decent position, right? His man is here. The ball is here, so he can see the ball. He can hopefully locate his man. All right. He's in decent position. All right, let's play it forward. I'm going to play it. Bam, I'm going to stop. Now, you see whoever this dude is here, whoever this dude is right here, can't see who it is, going to the basket. I think that's Jeff Teague has the ball here. Kevin Knox can still see both, and he's in line with his man. So if the ball got swung here, he can close out. Decent position. But what he does on this play, when Mitchell Robinson is going to help stop Jeff Teague, he's late coming over.
or maybe he's watching the ball too hard, whatever it is, he does not get into this position to cut this off before it even gets a chance. He should be looking to say, I'm going to cut this off because this is an immediate threat to the basket. Immediate threat. We'll let Jeff Teague force it out here. I have to bust my butt to get out here. Right? And when I get out here, I need to cut off the baseline and send them back towards the middle, because we've all seen times when he's giving up the baseline. Right?
Yeah.
You know, he has to be able to recognize that from the beginning. Now, the hard part here is that he is in a vulnerable position, because if he helps too much in, which I still think he gave bad help side defense here. If he helps too much in and the ball gets swung here, he's going to have to bust his butt to get out there. You start busting your butt to get out there, a good offensive player is going to scoot right around you. Right? So now, you know, he has to go out a little bit slower to make sure that the guy doesn't blow past you. And if it's a good three-point shooter, they're going to shoot it. So it's a little bit of a vulnerable position. But what he does here is horrible to me, because instead of really getting over and cutting this guy off, he's going to reach. Lazy defense. He reaches, bam, gets the bucket, gets the hoop and the harm. That's bad defense. That's not good help side defense, because he could have cut that off. He could have cut that off, easily cut it off. He was in the right position. He could have cut it off. That's lazy defense.
Yeah, exactly. And this goes, you know, like you said, to the defensive awareness. He should be like a step forward and a step into the key. So he would cut the lane of Dedmon. I think that was Dedmon. He still would be in the passing lane. So Teague, which you would be, you know, only able to pass the ball with a lob. And when a ball is passed with a lob, you have a little bit more time to get back to your guy, right? Of course, if that guy hit like 3-4 threes, you got to stick with him. And then you just don't reach. And sorry, guys, I'm not able to help you because I got to stick to my guy, right? I doubt that guy had like 3-4 threes made. So he should be, you know, sticking and putting his body on the line to draw that offensive foul in the key.
Right. And, you know, listen, these are things that Kevin Knox can work on. Hopefully he did during the off season. He's going to have training camp. What do you think he needs to do to work on some of these things? Let's start with the body control and playing on the balls of your feet.
Well, you know, these two first positions, purely mechanical things. That means can be fixed by practicing balance. And, you know, you can practice balance in many different ways, like playing other sports, training other sports, tennis, yoga, what more? Something. So only sports that make your body gravity point really low, right? Because there are sports like volleyball, like skiing, that you got that body, you know, gravity point it's really in another position compared to basketball. You don't want to play those kind of sports. But tennis, like we said, and yoga, more flexibility in his, you know, joints and stuff like that, it would be preferable for him. I'm guessing that the whole team is doing yoga. I read it somewhere in the last season, so they had practices and trainings of yoga, so I'm happy about that. You know, as Kevin says, instead of playing that Fortnite, I'd play tennis when I would be him.
Yeah, listen, that tennis is great. Yeah. You know, when you want to learn how to get your feet moving playing defense, tennis is great. Because, you know, it's all lateral movement. You're playing on the balls of your feet the whole time, and it's all lateral movement.
Yeah.
You know, tennis would be great. Yoga, of course, you know, to help get guys light on their feet. Ballet, take dance classes, martial arts. These all help with your footwork. Things outside of basketball, they help with your footwork. They help with you being light on your feet.
Yeah, boxing as well, you know.
Boxing, definitely.
You know, like you said, martial arts and boxing would also help him with the mental thing, right?
Yeah.
He's a young guy. He's playing versus really grown men. So we saw Frank back down from LeBron. I'm not saying that if Kevin would be training boxing in the off season, he would go versus LeBron, right? But at least he doesn't have that fear of a kid versus a man.
Yeah, yeah, and the discipline in those crafts. You got to have a certain level of discipline in those crafts. I think it helps you in all portions of your life. The foot positioning and defensive awareness, that's coaching.
True.
Coaching, helping him to recognize certain things that are happening with the defense, breaking down film, help him to recognize it. It's on him to study. He's got to study it. He's got to commit it to memory. And then helping him to understand, well, you know what? If you see that the offense is like this, you may need to position your body this way, position your body that way, position your feet this way. Watch a person's hips. Understand where they're going by watching their hips. Don't look at their eyes. Don't look at the basketball. Look at their body. Different things like that. And then, of course, it comes down to repetition. Doing it repetitiously.
Yeah, true. Like you said, looking at the guy's hips and waist tells you basically where he's going to go. So any movement of the body starts from there, because he can make that dribble and crossover, but the crossover is not going to go anywhere if he's not going to be moving his hips, right? So dribbling in the place is not going to get the advantage for the offensive player. So if you're going to be able to put your body before, between the basket and between the offensive player, you got a good thing on defense. Of course, we saw from Kevin lapses, like really lapses. He looked like he, the battery run out of his controller on while playing, some video game. He was just standing around, and this guy was like, a couple of feet away from him, running behind his back. That was during his rookie season. In the sophomore season, it was a little bit better. So I'm happy about that, but still he needs to work on that, awareness. And, I don't know if he can get that IQ a little bit higher, the defensive one. But I think because of, these defensive schemes, that can really be straightened out, at least for a young guy. And I hope, I bet that any, coaches are going to put really, really hours of practice with Kevin on it.
Yeah. Now let's talk about him offensively, right? Because, I catch a lot of flack because I said I think he's a versatile player, and I'm not backing down from it. I think he is versatile offensively. There are a lot of things that I think he can do on the floor that people just don't give him credit for. And, I think there are certain ways that you can use him to get the most out of Kevin Knox. All right, so I want to talk about how I think Tom Thibodeau should use Kevin Knox this season. All right, so let's talk about his offensive usage. And the first thing, quick curls and cuts to the basket. All right, that's the first thing I want to focus on, because I think this could really be his bread and butter and the way that he scores, at least at this point in his career. Getting Kevin Knox with quick cuts to the basket off of, maybe some screen plays where all he has to do is take one dribble and just go up to the basket.
Yeah, and we saw, a couple of guys in the Thibs system. The Thibs system uses these kind of plays. So we might see him in those roles.
Yeah, if he's on the team.
Yeah, exactly.
we know the rumors and things like that that's out there. So if he's on the team, we might see him in these type of roles. All right, so right here, quick cuts to the basket off curls. Boom, he goes back door to the basket. This right here, I want to bring this one back. All right, because you were talking about plays in Thibodeau's system, and that right there looks like something that you might see in Thibodeau's system, right? And it's perfect to me for Kevin Knox. And you're going to see Kevin Knox over here getting one screen. I don't know who that is right there. I can't tell. Getting one screen. You got another screen from Taj Gibson. And Kevin Knox is going to curl off those screens, catch the ball here, boom, to the basket. These are the type of plays, to me, are perfect to capitalize the ability of Kevin Knox. Boom, comes off another screen right there. And there, doesn't get the foul, but, you know, there you go. Here, nice cut to the basket. One dribble, off 2 feet. Here, boom, backdoor. Recognizes that his player had his back to him. Those are the kind of plays you want to see from Kevin Knox. You see it in spurts, right? You see it in spurts. You don't see it all the time. I think someone like Tom Thibodeau hopefully can help him to recognize his ability in doing those things. And maybe even has 1 or 2, maybe 3 plays drawn up per game where you say, this is what we're going to do. Let's run this play for Kevin Knox. You know, quick cuts and curls to the basket. I think, you know, that can be, you know, he can be a slasher. I think he can be effective.
Yeah, and he can be also effective. Like another thing that on these plays, we saw that he only took 1 dribble or none, right? And he was in a dunking, you know, position and opportunity. This is great for him because he doesn't have to think what to do with the ball. He just gets the ball when he's, you know, already set his mind on scoring the basket. So it's only, you know, going up and going for the dunk, layup, or whatever. If he's going to have options, we're going to talk about it later on.
Yeah. So let's look at some other things that Kevin Knox can do. Quick drives off the dribble. And when I'm saying this, what I mean is sometimes Kevin Knox maybe is unsure, right? He might be a little bit unsure. Should I go? Should I not go? Or is thinking as he's going. The times when he's successful, it's when he just gets the ball and he goes. He's not really thinking. He just goes to the basket. And whatever happens, happens. A lot of times you see Kevin Knox go in and kind of, you know, he wants to lay it up, but he's in the air still fading himself away from the basket. I don't want to see that. I don't like it when he does that. When he just goes straight to the basket without worrying about who's there, and maybe he will learn this, he's usually successful. Right? So, you know, you can look at here. Boom. That's another curl, kind of a curl play. I'm sorry. Hold up. That's because I put up the curl play. There you go. Just straight to the basket. Still maybe faded a little bit on that layup. Right here. Boom. Straight to the cup. I'm going in. Right? That's what I want to see. And you see he caught a little bit of a screen from Mitchell Robinson there. We're going to talk about that shortly, ladies and gentlemen. I know, you know, some of you guys think I'm crazy. But again, you see him, boom. Just make up his mind that he's going to go. That's a big word right there. Make up your mind you're going to go and then go. And I want to see him get put in positions where he doesn't have to think. He can just make up his mind and go to the basket hard.
Yeah, true. And, you know, he's probably going to do it more and more often as he, like I said previously, he gets that NBA body like perfectly shaped, right? Because he, you know, he's young, he's gaining weight, he's still not built like he probably wants to be. He's getting stronger every year, so I'm guessing, you know, those fadeaway layups are going to change into, you know, straight up going for the dunk plays. And, you know, or he's going to score or he's going to get fouled at least. When you're going, you know, like thinking you're going to the basket, but you don't know and you're going away from the basket, you're not even going to get fouls called versus you, right? If you're going to have your mind set up and you're going to go straight ahead, then, you know, the refs are going to see that there's, you know, contact going to happen, and then they're going to anticipate the contact. So you're going to get more fouls called versus you. So,
yeah. And Andy, here's where I need to have my proofed up vest underneath the hoodie that I got on. Because people are going to throw some hate, but that's all right. I can take it. Throw the hate. Throw it. I can take it. I think, and I'm not saying that you're going to do this in an abundance, but I really do think you can use Kevin Knox as a ball handler in the pick and roll. And people are going to laugh. And people are going to say, what the hell is he talking about? I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. And he can do it specifically with Mitchell Robinson, given that both of these guys are on the team coming next season, or this season coming up in a couple of weeks. Specifically with Mitchell Robinson, I actually think the two have a good connection. And Kevin Knox has done a really good job throughout the season finding him off of a screen and roll. You're going to see some plays where Kevin Knox comes off of a double screen. And the second screen is Mitchell Robinson. And then he goes to the basket and they find him for a lob. He finds him for a lob. There are other plays that you could point out where he finds Mitchell Robinson actually kind of posting up a little bit in the center of the lane. Kevin Knox finds him on a pass. There's a couple of plays that I have. You're not going to see it today where Kevin Knox actually penetrates to the basket and dips it off to Mitchell Robinson. Those two have a little bit of a connection that I think Tom Thibodeau could utilize. Let's look at him as a ball handler in the screen and roll, ladies and gentlemen. All right. This is Kevin Knox here. Boom. All right. This one, I don't know how I mixed this one in there, but anyway, we'll go on from that one. So, boom, he gets the screen right there from who? Bobby Portis. All right, he comes in, bam. He uses his body well, footwork well, right? Boom, I want to bring that one back. As you can see, he uses his footwork very well on that play, in my opinion. He comes off the little slight screen, steps in, measures up COVID-19, and knocks it down. All right, you're going to see here. Another one from Bobby Portis. All right, boom. Little slight screen, but he's able to be measured. And when I say measured, I want you to look at this one here. Now he's getting the screen from Mitch. All right. He's very measured. He comes off not blazing speed, but he comes off enough where he can say, let me see what opens up, and then decide to make a play. You're going to see him come off, come in here, and then pull up a little bit of a runner, right? For some reason, I don't know what it is, but I think he is very composed coming off of these screens. You see him come off, come in here, a little runner. All right, another screen from Mitchell Robinson. Comes off the screen, boom. Look inside here. Now, we don't have Elfrid Payton's not cutting to the basket. Wayne Ellington's not cut. Elfrid Payton has this whole thing back here, but he's not going. Probably because they want to get Mitchell Robinson on his roll. But this is wide open for Elfrid Payton because you got four guys trying to cover two. Right? Why? Because Kevin Knox is in the teeth of the paint, and Mitchell Robinson is a lob expert. This is wide open for him. This is wide open at the top of the key. Right? This is kind of covered. All right, but this, I think he can be effective now on this play. You know, he goes ahead and he floats it in. All right, let's look at another one. This is the screens that I was talking about. You see Mitchell Robinson do a handoff screen with Kevin Knox over on this side. Mitchell Robinson, handoff screen to Kevin Knox. Knox comes off the screen, measures it up. And you can see the one little dribble. He takes this little dribble before he pulls up the shot. Right? When he gets about right here, he's going to take a nice little dribble and then pull up the shot. That's a measured dribble, right? It's a rhythm dribble, but he's also measuring the defense. And I'm actually kind of impressed that he does these little things. And it's, to me, I feel like it's something that he does natural. He's not thinking about it. You're going to see him come off, boom. One little dribble, he measured it up. What I got to do, I pull it up. That's what I got to do. Mitchell Robinson, again, gets into the teeth of the defense. Ball handler. Now, here you go. Here's that one play again. It's effective in this. Comes off two screens. Mitchell Robinson's the second screener. Right? He's going to get the ball curling. Now watch what happens. Boom. Lob it up to Mitch. Let's see it again. Here he comes. Gets the ball off the handoff. Bam. Lob it up to Mitch. Let me rewind that for a second. Because this right here, to me, is a little bit of patience that he's able to show in these scenarios. All right. You're going to see him take a little dribble just so he can see what's happening. Boom. Stop. See what's happening. Lob it up to Mitch. And there it goes. Another one. Boom. Mitch. Finds him again, lobs him up. There it goes. One more time. Screen for Mitch. Lobs it up for Mitch. There it goes. Ladies and gentlemen, you may think I'm crazy. You may think I'm crazy. And maybe I didn't put this up on the screen before, so let me put it up there. Yes, I think that he can be an effective ball handler in the screen and roll, in the pick and roll. I think he can. You just seen the proof in the pudding, ladies and gentlemen. Right? Lobbed it up to Mitch multiple times off of that. There's a couple other plays where he penetrated to the basket that I have where, you know, he dipped it off, but it wasn't off of a screen and roll. I really do think that Knox is capable, very capable of running a screen and roll with someone like Mitch. And I'm not saying you're doing it every play down, but I think you can get some good plays, some good scoring plays running that. What do you think?
Yeah, and just to add on those, on the last topic, firstly, we gotta realize as Knicks fans that those screens are really weak from our big men, right? Mm-hmm. I bet that it's gonna be corrected by Thibs because they didn't cut off properly on those screens because the screens were all too low, too high, or in a bad position. So that's the first thing. They're going to have that extra split second of, being without the defender to make up the decision, take a shot, or to pass the ball, right? And that's really crucial. The other thing is we didn't mention that Thibs can use Knox as a shooter, right? I'm not saying he has perfect percentage because he doesn't, but he can take that three, which we didn't mention, and he can pull up in the from the 2-point line, even around the free throw line on the sides. He can really take a shot, and he's he has that shooter's mentality. He's not always looking just to drive to the basket. He can pull up from every place on the court basically and take that shot, which not everyone on this roster can do it.
Right.
So
and he can. I mean, he can shoot at mid range. He can shoot it out of the little post area. I'm not saying he's posting up, but in that area, he can obviously he can catch some lobs to the basket. He can shoot the three. He can be a ball handler in the pick and roll like you just seen. And if you're just logging in, rewind it, and you can see some of the plays that we're talking about. Right? He can catch the ball. He can catch the rebound and go coast to coast. He can get a steal and go coast to coast. This is a guy that's 6'9", 6'10". And we know there's a lot of them in the NBA. But he's one that we have. I think, there's so many people that are so down on him because, his first season, he averaged 12 points a game. What was it, 5, 6 rebounds or something like that? And then last year, he's down to 5 or 6 points a game and 3 or 4 rebounds. I think you have to me, this kid has a lot of talent and a lot of versatility. Can he get his mental game straight is the question.
Well, I don't know if we have time to wait till he's 27 like Isaiah, because we're still waiting, bro. But I hope he can blossom a little bit sooner than Isaiah.
Yeah, and when I say mental game, I'm not saying like he has something wrong with him. I'm saying maturity. Can he mature? Exactly. Can he mature so that his game matures with him? And I think if he can mature, I think he can be good. I really do think that he can be good. Obviously there's always this concern, does he push himself? To me, that's part of the mental game to me, right? Does he push himself? And work is hard. Now, there's some people that say, he's a hard worker and this and that. You can be a hard worker in practice, but when you get into the game, you can't fade out. You know what I'm saying? You got to stay aggressive in the game.
Yeah,
he is a young man. I just seen someone in the chat say, he is, he's a kid playing amongst men. I can't find out who said it, but you're right. He is. He's a boy. May 4th, he said he's just a baby playing with grown men, and I agree. He is a baby playing with grown men. My hope is that as he gets older, he matures, he becomes more confident about who he is as a young man, and you see a different game. I just think this kid has a world of talent. It's up to him if he's going to be able to use that talent.
Yeah, and just to add on that, I think there was a stat. I just want to throw it out here, not take my word on it, but I think there was a stat that in last year's draft, after drafting all 60 players, Kevin Knox was like still the 7th or the 8th youngest player in the league. So he was, basically that last year he should have been still in college or even longer, right? But he was, at that era in the NBA. Sometimes for some guys it really works out faster because they thrown in that deep water, right? And they have to learn faster. Knox might be not the exception to the rule, but he might be, just that learner that's going to need a little bit more time. And I really believe in him. I'm not gonna lie that I was knocking him really bad on those games. But you got to critique on someone when Melo wasn't here.
Right. You got to critique on somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, listen. There's no doubt about it. There's a lot of things that he has to learn about the game, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of technique that he's got to work on, both offensively and defensively. But I think the kid has some natural ability to play basketball. Hopefully, it comes to fruition. Now, will he be here? Will it come to fruition in New York is the question, because his name gets thrown around in trades for CP3, Russell Westbrook, and whoever else. Although Leon Rose and crew, they are reluctant to move Kevin Knox. Reluctant to move him. Why? That's why they brought in Kenny Payne.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
So, and I don't blame them for being reluctant to move Kevin Knox, because I think, he's only scratched the surface and he's got a lot to prove. I mean, obviously, this is going to be his 3rd year in the league, so people are going to be looking at him like, you're gonna really start to show something or what? People are going to be looking at him like that, and rightfully so. They should, right? They should look at him like that. But you got to ask yourself, why is it that OKC is like, yeah, we want Kevin Knox? OKC is a team that has notoriously found talent. James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant. Wasn't hard to find those guys. You got SGA. Like, it's a team that notoriously has brought in talent, been able to develop talent. And I'm not talking about those big name guys, just other guys they've been able to develop. Why does OKC say, yeah, we want Kevin Knox? Or other teams that the Knicks have been interested in doing trades in say, Kevin Knox might be thrown in there. Obviously, his salary is low, and he is the type of guy where they, I don't know if you consider him a reclamation project right now.
Yeah, it's still too soon. Definitely still too soon for that.
Yeah.
Maybe his second contract or stuff. So, but now he's really still a promising player, and giving up on him at this point of his career at this age is I think it's going to be a bad idea. And the other thing that I don't want him to get traded, because this hour that we spent here will be lost time. So I hope he stays.
Yeah. Stephen Fox said, how many times did you see Kevin Knox hit a few jumpers and then didn't get past 2 again, so he didn't get in rhythm? I mean, I agree. Plenty of times. And, that's part of being one of the youngest guys on the floor, right? Yeah, okay, you hit a couple of them, young fella, but give up the ball. You know what I'm saying? And he's different than RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett comes in with this strong mentality. Knox is kind of quiet, very kiddish. You know what I'm saying? He looks like this big shy kid. So, we'll see what he does. He's got a lot of work to do on his part, and he's got to put the work in if he's going to be successful in this league. But if I'm the Knicks, I'm like, we're going to get this guy another 2 years to see if, his talent starts to overtake his, or see if his maturity catches up with his talent. So there we have it, man. Andy, I appreciate your time, man. Any last words you want to give out about Kevin Knox?
It was a pleasure.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. And
I got my fingers crossed both for Kevin and for Isaiah.
Yeah, I mean, Isaiah is 27 years old. It might be a little bit too late for that guy. Kevin Knox is what, 21? Isaiah's 27. Might be a little bit too late.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But like I said, I see Anthony D said, Sim, stop eating him. He said, Sim, stop eating them Isaiah smash burgers. I haven't had one of them joints yet, but Isaiah made them smash burgers. You know, he sodiumed it up. Mad sodium on that smash burger. I'm not gonna front though. When he did visit and he made that whatever kind of chicken he made, it was good. It was good. So we'll see what's up. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it's the height of trade rumor season and free agent rumor season and all of that. If anything pops off, just be aware. I might pop on. I might pop up from my phone or might pop up from here. Just to keep you updated and have a little conversation about whatever the rumor is or what's going down. I'm hoping that Kevin Knox is not included, but he could be. He could be. I'm hoping that he's not, because I think the kid has a future. But anyway, Andy, I appreciate the time, man. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys. And, any comments that you have, leave it in the comment section. All right, anything you want to say. And I'm out of here. I'll see you Monday for Knicks Weekly, 3:30. Peace.
Peace.